Xperia T, the new HD smartphone from Sony, packed with exclusive Bond content.
This is the way Sony is promoting his new flagship smartphone, the Xperia T. And it gave me the chance to have James Bond in my channel over here. So a very warm thank you to Sony for making this happen. By the way, it's the first time for me to do a review in English because it's a multiple request, but it's not my native language, so please be patient. I apologize in advance and I'm doing my best. Okay, back to the Xperia T. It's not built by Q, so it can't vanish or something, but nevertheless, it's a very cool smartphone because of its let's say that arc, you know, from the Xperia arc over here. So it's resting very great in the palm, but it's a little bit heavy. It's 139 gram and not the smallest one in the world. We have 67 millimeters on here and 129 millimeters over here. But it's a little bit thinner than Sony is telling us. It's not 9.4 millimeters. I measured over here 9.2 millimeters. And on the upper on the lower section we have 11.4 millimeters, and over here, because of this camera lens over here, we have 12.2 millimeters on that over here. So as you can imagine, this is not like a iPhone 5. It's a little bit, you know what you're having in your hand. You know what I mean. So, but on the other side, you have a 13 megapixel camera shooting video in full HD. You have NFC, so if you want to, you can come closer to another smartphone and via the what Sony calls the one-touch sharing option, you can provide photos or data or contacts with another phone just via NFC. All right, we have, as you can maybe have seen, you can remove that cap over here, so the battery is fixed in there. So if you have a problem with that, you have to go to the support. And on the other side, you don't have a switch for those memory slots or something. This is a solution over here. So you have this little flap. Okay, here we go, where you find a micro SIM slot and a slot for a micro SD card. Well, that's something new, because you remember, because of the Xperia Ion, maybe you couldn't provide a SD card for expanding the memory, because over here you just had the USB and the HDMI slot. And remember, the Xperia S, there was no memory slot 2, a slot for memory card 2. So this is a great feature, I guess. You have internal memory of 16 gigabyte, and this one over here supports 32 concerning to Sony. So you have a lot of memory capacity. A little bit special is the positioning of those buttons over here. This is the on-off standby and the volume, and this is for the camera we're coming back to. It's great if you're using your right hand for using your smartphone, because it's just under your right thumb. But if you're a lefty, it's a little bit problematical to reach those buttons over here. You have to play around a little. It's not a big deal, but it's not the best solution, I guess, but let's not talk about this. We're going back to the back because we have not only NFC, we have Wi-Fi N, including the 5 gigahertz band, and for the first time, you have HML support over that micro USB slot you have find here. So you need an optional cable or adapter cable or whatever to, but you can use it as an HDMI slot, so you can connect the smartphone directly via HDMI to your TV, for example, to get to display those photos and videos you have taken or whatever. By the way, you have the same display like on the Xperia Ion over here. Let me see. Oops. Okay, here we go. It's the same Sony tells us it's the same display. It's regular LCD. It's 4.55 inches. You have 720 by 1280 pixels, so it's the same resolution, and you have that same 332 ppi pixel density. So it's almost the same like on the iPhone 4S and on the iPhone 5, which is just 326, I guess, ppi. So it's the same level. But as I figured out just by trying some photos over here, let me see that I'm getting the same picture. Great. Okay, here we go. Remember, Sony is telling us it's both the same display and it's LCD, but when let me see, okay, here we go. On the upper hand here, I have the Xperia T. On the lower, it's the Xperia Ion. And when I'm going over here in the same angle, as you can see, or I hope you can see on the video too, I can see over here that they're switching the colors. They are going much more brighter and unnatural on the Xperia T over here, and they're staying the same colors on the Xperia Ion on the lower section. And I'm going again over here. I hope you can see. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not the same display like Sony is telling us, but I hope I'll figure that out later. But that's the first impression, because I guess the display of the Xperia Ion over here is a little bit better, especially as you can see over here. You have, on the paper it's the same size, but as you can see over here, they're integrated the buttons over here, which are on the down of the touch screen on the Ion. So you're losing just about or a small finger size over here, which you need for those buttons over here. And as you can see, they're integrated, so you can use them. And the plus is, if you, let's say, are in an application over here, you can go to landscape mode, and I hope you can see that the icons over here are rotating with the smartphone itself. So that's a big plus, all right, but you're losing that that row over here you have. So as you can see, the touchscreen of the Xperia Ion looks bigger, but even they are both nearly 4.6 inches, but this one is on the net. It's a little bit smaller, but you have to choose by yourself, sure. And on the other hand, we have again a dual-core processor by Qualcomm. It's 1.5 gigahertz. You have GPS, you have everything you want, nothing I'm losing, but just the user interface is a little bit different, because you have Android 4.0, you have that's called Ice Cream Sandwich, and you know this recent apps button over here, but Sony figured out that a little bit better over here. You know this one, these are the recently used apps, and you can close them just by swiping them out over here. But over here down, I'm going a little bit closer so that you can see. Okay. I mean, this row over here, we have some quick apps, or I don't know what it's called, just to show you what they are for. You can, let's say, pick up this one over here, the notes, and you can swipe them around and position them wherever you want. And when I'm just going, let's say, to the browser, reading a page or whatever, this is one the Sony, and as you can see, this one is an overlay mode, some kind of, as you might know from the Samsung Galaxy S3 with the videos, so you can have this one over here and read your page, and if you want to have a note, you can type in and then scroll again. So you can use two applications at a time, but just those four over here you find here. It's a calculator, and what we have here, it's the camera timer and notes we have had, and over here it's the speech, text to speech, speech to text, I'm sorry, over here. And as you can see, we have a plus over here, but if we're typing this one, you have the pre-installed. These are just those 4 apps you are just having over here. And if you go to the Play, Google Play, then you can see that it's just a error message over here to have those small apps like Sony, it's calling them nothing else over here. So I hope that they are following some additional apps for this one over here, but right at the moment you have just those 4. The other thing Sony is using a little bit different are the widgets. As you can remember, in native Android 4, you have the widgets after that menu pages over here or on the tabs over here, but there's nothing on the Sony UI. You have to find the widgets over here, tapping along on the home screen, tapping on the plus, and here we go. These are the, did you see this? I go a little bit going out and starting this one again. Okay, tap on the touch screen and then you have over here that plus sign. So this one goes to the widgets. It's a little bit more easier to scroll around, I guess, than on the native Android 4 with the different sizes. And if you want, let's say, just a clock and this one, just tap it around and then you can drag and drop to put them to other pages or whatever you want, if there's enough space. You have 5 home screens only, and as usual with Sony you can't expand them to 7 or more like on other Android smartphones, but on those 4 you can have those applications and widgets and whatever you want and whatever you know. Last thing I want to tell you is the Xperia T is PlayStation certified, so if you want to, you can play those PlayStation games on the Xperia T. These are not the greatest graphics on the world, but for gamers, I guess it's just a nice add-on to have. All right, this is the first expression of the Xperia T. I hope you enjoyed, and it's coming to our markets in Central Europe at the end of October, right away for the James Bond movie Skyfall starting on November the 1st over here. So I don't know the local dates and the local prices. Over here we will pay about 549 euro without any contract for the Xperia T, and that's it I want to share with you. So I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'm sorry for my English. I really tried my best, and I hope we will see you back soon.